Well, the motorized scooters that arrived in Bloomington in 2018 continue to be a topic of conversation. One Bloomington resident had a specific question about the scooters for city limits. Intern reporter Chloe Burris explains.
Since their introduction to Bloomington about a year ago, rental scooters from companies such as Bird and Lime have proven to be both a convenience and a nuisance to the city's residents. The rechargeable scooters have provided a means of convenient transportation around downtown and a handful of jobs for people as scooter mechanics or chargers. However, some Bloomington residents have objected to the scooters on grounds of safety, aesthetics, and accessibility. Kaylee Shearer wishes the scooter rules were better known and better followed. On any day, one could see several scooters lining both sides of the street on which she lives.
A few months ago, I started finding electric scooters parked in my yard, which became problematic because every time I'd mow the yard, I'd have to move the scooters, and unless you pay, the wheels actually lock up. So moving the scooters out of my yard wasn't all that easy.
Kaylee asked city limits to find out what she can do to keep these scooters from being parked on her private property, and if it is possible to have them impounded.
So after the electric scooters are charged, they're dropped off in locations, it's my understanding, and somehow my yard is one of those, which does kind of bother me also, just that a company is making profit off of using my home for people to pick up their product.
While some city residents were alarmed by the scooters, city officials were also concerned with the lack of rules and regulations developed for this newly introduced mode of transportation. City council members spent several meetings debating the rules before adopting them in August. Michael Rooker is an attorney for the city of Bloomington.
And we had a lot of people who were seeing this new device, this new mode of transportation in town, who weren't used to it, who also were sort of asking very basic questions. You know, is this legal? What are the rules related to scooters? And because it was so new, you know, we hadn't even really developed those rules at this point in time. So we set about working on an interim operating agreement so we could just have some rough basic rules in place during that time period. And then this past summer, the city council passed a formal ordinance.
Rooker says that for getting inconveniently placed scooters moved, the options are limited.
So the city has the authority under the ordinance to impound a scooter that is improperly located on public property. Whether or not you could simply say, I'm going to take somebody else's property that's been mistakenly placed on my property or incorrectly placed on my property is going to be a difficult question.
Rooker also says that if Shearer or any other individual was unable to contact the scooter company, they could move the scooter from their property to a sidewalk, as long as they are complying with the ordinance. This would include not blocking the sidewalk or placing the scooters in a tree plot. The scooters also need to be standing upright and adjacent to a street sign. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Chloe Burris.